My name is Robert. I was studying information systems in college. My story began 3 years ago, and it still hasn't ended. Some nights, I stare at my screen and feel like it's about to begin again. Back then, I had heard a lot about people accessing the dark web, anonymity, crypto payments, illegal marketplaces. But that's not what caught my interest. There were rumors about certain rooms hidden deep within the deep web. Places where you could only be a watcher. Rooms monitored by cameras, where no interaction was allowed. You could only observe. Whether it was real or not, I didn't know. One night, alone in my dorm room, I gave in to that curiosity. I opened the Tor browser, set up the VPN and proxies. Then, I came across a random .onion address. The page had a black background. In the center, there was a single white line of text. Only watchers. No interaction, no exit before the feed ends. Below, it was a button. Enter room 3291. I hesitated before clicking. But I had already gone too far. My heart was racing. I clicked. The screen went dark. Then a low-resolution video feed appeared. It looked like security cam footage of a small room. A single bed on the floor. A desk in the corner with a lamp. Bare walls. In the middle of the room sat a young woman. Her back was turned. She wore a hoodie. She wasn't moving. In the top right corner of the feed was a viewer counter. Viewers, 13. I was the 14th. At first I thought, is this some kind of ARG? But as hours passed, I watched her get up occasionally, open the closet, eat, turn off the light, and go to bed. Everything looked too real. There were no visible cameras or microphones, but she was clearly being watched. The next day, I connected again. Same room, same girl. This time, a small warning appeared at the bottom of the screen. If she sees you, the room resets. Stay quiet. What did that mean? How could she see us? I thought she couldn't. At least, I hoped so. On the third day, it was around 4 a.m. The girl walked to the window. She stopped. Then she slowly turned toward the screen, toward us. She stood still for a long time, didn't move. The feed looked frozen. Then, her lips moved. Someone new just joined. My hands went ice cold. The feed suddenly cut out. The screen turned pitch black. A single line of text appeared. Viewer 14 caused a breach. Session terminated. My computer shut down on its own. Not just the browser. The entire system went dark. When I pressed the power button, it turned back on like normal. Everything was where I left it. But I didn't sleep that night. 2 days later, I got an email from an unknown sender. Don't try to enter again. 3,291 remembers. My skin crawled. Was this a prank? No one could trace me on the dark web, not with layered VPNs and proxies. I had done everything right, or so I thought. The real shock came the next day. As I was heading to class, I saw something on the dorm bulletin board. A sheet of A4 paper, photocopied, in bold letters, Viewer 14. Below it, a QR code, and my name, Robert D. I felt a rush of static in my head. I looked around. No one seemed to be watching me. Or maybe they were. I wanted to scan the QR code, but I didn't have the courage. I tore the flyer down and stuffed it into my bag. Throughout class, I kept reaching for it. Later, when I was alone in a cafe, I gave in and scanned it. It took me to another random .onion site. The page loaded instantly. In the center of the screen, you're being watched, and not just online. Below that, a map, a live map with a red dot. Right on my current location, the cafe. As I moved, the dot moved with me. It wasn't just tracking my phone. If my location was that precise, something else was watching me. Suddenly, my phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. 5 seconds later, it rang again and again. Then a message. I liked the gray hoodie you wore yesterday. looked better on you than on the last guy. That message changed everything. Because the gray hoodie? I had borrowed it from my dorm mate, Richard, which meant whoever was watching didn't just know me, they knew the people around me too. I texted Richard, "Did you have that hoodie recently?" His reply, "No, it went missing from my room last week." Suddenly, I felt sick. When I returned to my dorm room that evening, everything seemed normal, no mess. Door was still locked, but my computer's screensaver had changed. No one knew my password but me. And yet, when the screen turned on, white words rotated over a black background. Room 329, one has opened in your device. I hadn't downloaded anything. I wasn't even connected to the internet. But in my system, a new folder had appeared. Feeds_3291. Inside were dozens of short videos. All of me, in the library, leaving the dorm, walking to the bathroom, conversations with friends, phone calls, everything was recorded. And some of the camera angles were so close, they clearly weren't from a phone. They had to be from hidden cameras. Worse yet, some were screenshots of my computer. Someone had full access to everything. Later that day, I tried logging into the university system. Access denied. My username had been changed to Viewer14, and underneath that, one final message. You're part of the feed now. I shifted in my seat, drenched in cold sweat. My hands were trembling. I avoided looking at my therapist as he silently took notes in his notebook. Taking a deep breath, I began to speak. Telling you this, it's making me worse. But if I keep it inside, I'll go insane. Maybe you'll believe me. I fixed my gaze on the floor and continued in a low, trembling voice. It all started with simple curiosity. I was reading forums on the dark web where people shared terrifying stories under anonymous identities. At first, it was fun. But then I wanted more. I wanted to go deeper. One night, I came across a post titled Dark Houses. It included the location of an abandoned house and some disturbing photos. The rooms in the photos were covered in red stains, and strange symbols were drawn on the walls. Old toys were scattered on the floor. Even worse, the comments said, "Those who go there never come back the same." I thought it was a joke, but then I received a private message. It only contained the house's coordinates and these words, "If you go, you stay with us." I shivered. I immediately searched the location. The address was real, the street existed, but where the house should have been, there were only ruins and rotting wooden debris, as if someone had tried to erase that house years ago. My therapist's pen stopped. It was as if he was really paying attention for the first time. The second incident happened a few weeks later. I found a strange channel on YouTube. It had only 4 short videos. Each one showed a porcelain doll slowly turning its head in a dark, silent room. But the worst part was the audio. Whispers, sobbing, screams. Each video had different and deeply disturbing sounds. The more I watched, the less I could sleep. I started having nightmares. Then the channel disappeared. When I tried to look into the owner, I found out they had gone missing years ago. That scared me even more. The third event was the worst, I said, swallowing hard, my throat tightening. I came across a hidden Reddit community that shared real murder scene photos. At first, I thought they were fake. But one night, I saw a photo of my own room. There was a body lying on the floor. Everything was exactly the same. My books, my bed, even the mug on my desk. I panicked and went to the police, but the photo in the account had already been deleted. They didn't believe me. They thought I was paranoid. But I saw that image, and that face, now it stares at me every night in my dreams. But the real fear started with the last incident, I said, my voice shaking. One night, I received an email with a link. I clicked it, even though I felt terrified. A black screen appeared with a single sentence written in red. "We've finally found you." Below that was a photo of me at my computer, taken at that exact moment. I looked behind me. The room was empty, but I felt something awful inside me. I couldn't sleep that night. In the faint light reflecting from my window, I suddenly saw a face appear. It was outside, dark and unclear, but I knew it was looking at me. When I ran over, there was nothing. Since that day, I feel like I'm being watched. I hear footsteps around my house. Someone knocks on my door at night, but when I open it, there's no one there. I get threatening messages on my phone. I keep the curtains closed. I leave the lights on. But sometimes the lights go out on their own. One night, in the middle of the night, my computer turned on by itself. That same doll was on the screen again, just staring at me. It wasn't moving. But its eyes, it was like it knew me. At the same time, a new warning popped up in the message box. "You're live." I heard my therapist close his notebook and I shuddered. He approached me and quietly asked, "Who do you think they are?" I looked up at him, my eyes filled with fear. The ones watching me, they might be real people, but their intentions aren't human. Maybe they're testing me. Maybe they're just playing. But this isn't just the internet anymore. They've invaded my real life, and I have nowhere left to run. My therapist said nothing. The room was silent for a few seconds. Then a sharp alarm sounded from outside the building, and a note and envelope was slid under the door. My therapist jumped up and opened the door, but the hallway was completely empty. He picked up the envelope. Inside was a photo of the two of us sitting in this room. At that exact moment, both of us looked up. A hidden camera on the ceiling flashed brightly. My therapist turned around, his face pale. He whispered, "How did they get in here? I'm sure now. They're watching me. They're watching us. This conversation, this room, this very moment is live." I never thought an internet forum could turn my life upside down like this. It all started one night when I was home alone. I was browsing the internet aimlessly when I stumbled upon a strange forum site. The name was simply Forum. The URL in the address bar was made up of random letters. The design was minimal, even sloppy, white text on a black background. But what drew me in were the bizarre thread titles. I noticed "You went to work today." "Are you sure the doors are locked?" "You always turn to your left when you sleep." At first, I thought it was a joke, maybe a low-effort horror story site. But when I clicked the threads and started reading, I realized this was something entirely different. The forum members were sharing disturbingly accurate details about each other's lives, real-life habits, work hours, routines, even details from inside people's homes. One thread caught my eye. "So you're watching too. Don't be afraid. We're watching you too." I clicked on it, and my heart started to race. The first message inside had only 2 sentences. "Welcome to the group. There is no way out." A few seconds later, the page refreshed on its own. A new message appeared. When I saw the username, I froze. It was my real name, my full legal name. The message was simple, but it made my skin crawl. "The back window lock is broken. Didn't you get it fixed last week?" I ran to the back room, and sure enough, the window was slightly open. I hadn't touched it, but who else could have known? Panicking, I rushed back to my computer and clicked on the sender's profile. It was empty, just one line of info. "Joined 2 years ago." That couldn't be right. I had just discovered the site that night. I tried to exit the site in a panic, but it wouldn't close. I force quit the browser, then restarted my computer. When the desktop loaded, there was a new text file, "WeSeeYou.txt." Inside was a single line. "We told you, there is no exit." Nothing happened for the next few days. Maybe it was just a hacker prank. Maybe a creepy coincidence. I tried to convince myself of that. Until I started getting messages on my phone from unknown numbers. Now that's when everything truly spiraled. Why did you drink your coffee with sugar today? Those red shoes look good on you, but yesterday you wore blue. I went to the police. I showed them the messages. I told them about the site, but when they typed in the forum's address, all they saw was a blank page. No threads, no users, nothing. They didn't believe me. That night, I went back to the forum. This time, the screen was pitch black. Only one sentence appeared. Going to the police was a very bad idea. I looked up from the screen toward my window, and that's when I saw him, standing beneath the street lamp outside my home. A hooded figure. His face was hidden, hands in his pockets. He was staring straight up at my window. I grabbed my phone to call the police, but a message from the same unknown number appeared. Turn off your phone and come downstairs, or we'll come upstairs. Terrified, I shut off my phone and turned off all the lights. I sat in silence for what felt like forever. When I finally looked out the window again, he was gone. But that didn't comfort me. It terrified me even more. In the days that followed, I tried everything to escape the forum. I used different IP addresses, different devices. But no matter what I did, they always knew it was me. One morning, I found a small package outside my door. A note was taped to the top. Welcome to forum. You can never leave. Inside was a USB stick. My hands shook as I plugged it into my computer. It contained hundreds of photos, all of them of me, inside my home, on my way to work with friends, all taken within the past few months. The final file was a video. I opened it. The image was dark but familiar. It was my bedroom. They had accessed my webcam. They'd been watching me. And then I heard it. A whisper. "We will never stop watching you." That's when I realized my life was no longer mine. The police couldn't help. No one could. I changed my address, my phone, my job, but forum was always there. I started watching everyone in public, studying faces, checking behind me. There is no escape from the forum, because now the forum is my life. And even as I tell this story, I know they're watching me. And soon they'll message me again. They'll end it with one sentence. We told you, there is no way out. Do you have a real-life horror story to share? Tell us your terrifying experience, and we might bring it to life in our next video. Send your true horror stories to the email in the description, and your story could be featured soon.